But right now we're going to go to Australia in the Pilbara region, which for those that are a little bit new to the industry, which we have, Pilbara region is so important. I'll just give you a quick little tip. Whenever you see it, it's spelled Pilbara, but it is not Pilbara. That'll drive our Aussie friends crazy. It's pronounced Pilbara. All right, so there's your tip of the day, just so you can look like if you're new to the industry, you can look like you really know what you're talking about, because otherwise people use that as an indicator that you don't know the industry that well if you're calling it Pilbara. So we're going to be joined by Novo Resources, which is a gold producer. It has a swath of gold and battery metals properties, as I said, in the Pilbara region. It's just identified a lithium mineralization that is Corana pegmatite swarm. So here to tell us more will be Michael Spreadborough. He is the executive co-chairman. Michael has a mining engineering background. He has over 20 years of experience in mining lead, zinc, uranium, copper, gold, and iron ore, which the Pilbara is very famous for. He's held roles across the scope of the industry, from business and project development to operations and exploration. He was CEO of MetalX. He was CEO of Nusantara Resources and non-executive director of Clean Tech Holdings. He was also general manager for BHP Billiton at its world-class Olympic Dam mine in Southern Australia. He was also general manager for Rio Tinto at its Panawanaka mine. And previous to those roles, he also held the position of chief operating officer for Novo, which is part of the Ivanhoe group of companies, and Sandfire Resources. Michael, pleasure to see you. How are things going? Are you joining us from Australia?
I'm not only joining you from Australia, but I'm actually in the Pilbara. So instead of downtown Perth.
That gives you a lot of street cred, Michael. That's excellent. How are things there? What's the weather like?
Absolutely beautiful day, obviously coming into our winter, but the Pilbara always sees kind of 8 to 10 degrees during the night and about still 15 to 16 during the day. So very beautiful weather.
That's fantastic. So
that's our winter in the Pilbara.
Not suffocating heat. It's just kind of that nice little sweet spot, it sounds like.
Indeed. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, Michael, I'll pass it over to you. We will watch with great interest, and then I'll come back at the end, fire off some questions your way.
Thank you very much. Right, so as we talked about Novo Resources, we're an explorer, developer, operator, predominantly based in the Pilbara. So today we're just going to give a very good overview of Novo Resources. We have a very large tenement base here in the Pilbara, and we actually cover 9 traditional owners. So we pay our respects to all members of these Indigenous communities and to their elders past, present and emerging. So for those that are not familiar with Novo, we are predominantly a gold focused company, but I'll talk a little bit about our move into battery metals and what that actually means for our shareholders. We're producing gold with an aim to produce 100,000 ounces from a Nullagine gold project. We have over 12,000 square kilometres of tenements, which is a huge landmass across the top of West Australia. We also have tenements in Victoria. We like innovation, and mechanical sorting is one of the techniques that we're using to upgrade low-grade or nuggety deposits, and we'll cover that a little bit. We definitely have a desire to grow to be a bigger company, and we're focused on moving through a growth strategy to get 250,000 ounces. At the moment, financially in a good position, 87 million in cash. We have investments around 72 million, and we still hold around $51 million of debt. So it is a bit unusual. We are a gold focused, so that's quite clearly very attractive in the market, but we have moved into a space of looking at battery metals. With such a large tenement base, it would be very remiss for us not to be looking for battery metals, particularly when the Pilbara is obviously known for iron ore, but it has large, significant deposits of both nickel, copper and lithium. So in the last 8 to 9 months, we have pivot a little bit of our exploration focus looking for those targets, and we'll talk about some of those through the presentation. So here's the Pilbara. We're spread right across from the west coast near Karratha all the way to our operations in Beatons Creek at Nullagine. So a very large tenement base. As you can see there, 12,500 square kilometres. Those who have been following us would see that that tenement holding has come down a bit. we're very active in making sure that we're optimising our portfolio. So those tenements that are don't have the potential, we remove from our tenement base, saves costs, and we're continually focusing on those tenements that are very, very highly potential for us, particularly for gold, but obviously the battery metals. So our operational base is around Nullagine at the Golden Eagle processing facility. You can see a picture there. It's a very nice, simple circuit that produces a nameplate capacity of 1.5. We're operating at above nameplate. It's a gravity CIL gold processing facility with a 4 megawatt SAG mill. We've got our own power station, tail storage facility, water, villages. So it's a very simple operation that allows us to feed the Beatons Creek gold project into that plant. So our focus as a company, as you can see here, we like innovation. We'll rapidly adopt those solutions that are very, very good, that we think will drive efficiency. But our clear focus is to transform our mineral endowment through exploration, development, operation, or even commercial arrangements so that we can benefit our shareholders. And that's particularly a good focus for battery metals. We aren't necessarily focused on bringing those into production, but we will do enough work on our battery metals to provide value so we can look at opportunities for our shareholders. And that's the key aim for us. How do we drive that share value for our shareholders over the long term, given such a large endowment? So this is a short video. Hope it works, given the Wi-Fi here in the Pilbara. That gives you an overview of Novo Resources. Just go back one. So we're in production at the Beatons Creek gold operation. We're mining oxide ore. We've been mining that since February 21. So we're producing around about, as you can see there, 25 to 30,000 ounces per half. Our innovation is a key aspect of us being able to bring this deposit into production and in the market, and definitely using the Chrysos photoassaying technology has been an absolute lever for us to be able to rapidly bring this conglomerate deposit to market. We're busy focusing on the transition to a high-grade fresh resource. We do require external approvals to it, but out of the whole deposit, the fresh resource represents 65% of the resource that has a higher grade than the oxide. We're busy doing a resource drill out and a feasibility study, which we completed in Q3 this year. The fresh will allow us to extend operations at Beatons Creek to 2026. Has a very similar processing and recovery performance as the oxide material, so it will treat very well through our processing plant. And we've done a whole range of batch testing, which is fantastic. We also know that the fresh resource does extend beyond the current resource boundary, and we'll be busy later this year, early next year, exploring that. But the Beatons Creek gold operation is more than just the conglomerate that we're mining at the moment. As I'll talk about in a minute, we have a lot of brownfields opportunities in other oxides, and there's a very large sulfide refractory ore resource within the Mosquito Creek Basin. So ore sorting is important to us. It is one of the key aspects that we think we can bring nuggety to gold deposits into production and make them extremely profitable. So we now own a Steinhardt mechanical sorter. It's currently, as you saw in the video, being assembled at the Novo gold plant. It'll shortly be disassembled and moved across the Pilbara to the Karratha area so we can conduct trials throughout the rest of this year at Comet World and Purdy's. We've got a project team that's now formed. We'll process around 20 to 30,000 tonnes of mineralised material. We have approval to do that as part of this development application. And the whole aim of the trials for the rest of the year is to allow us to seek external approvals and also understand the production requirements so we can go in production into late 23 or early 2024 from the Comet Well and Purdy's area. So please look forward to the news releases that will come out over coming months on the progress through that trial. So as I said, exploration is absolutely core to our ethos. It's what we see as the biggest leverage to value. As shown in the picture here, we have multiple targets across the Pilbara that we are continually focusing on and looking to bring into resource base. So our strategy is really across 4 areas. We are looking for basement and orogenic gold targets. We're continuing our search for economic conglomerate gold projects like Beatons Creek, particularly those that are within 50 kilometres of our processing plant. As I said, we have pivoted a little bit of our exploration effort, not to take away from the gold focus, but a little bit of our effort into looking for copper, nickel and lithium. And in the short time that we've been doing that on our tenements, we have some fantastic opportunities, which I'll talk about in a minute. And we still have some joint ventures with GBM Resources and Kalamazoo in Victoria, and those tenements are south of the world famous high-grade Fosterville mine. So brownfields in the Mosquito Creek Basin is very important to us. It's an opportunity to add mill feed that's close to the processing plant. We've previously announced great discoveries at both Genie and Parnell, and we're still busy doing follow-up RC drilling so we can bring these into a resource base. So as you can see on this slide here, Genie, only 3 kilometres from the processing plant, but very strong grades, 22 metres at 1.61, you can see 12 metres at 2.45 grams per tonne gold. Parnell is a larger system, it's about 45 kilometres from the processing plant. Again, some of the drill intersections are very strong, 7 metres at 7.75 grams per tonne, and you can see there down the bottom 8 metres at 10.02 grams per tonne. So by all means, please have a look at the news releases that provides more information on these projects, and as the drill out continues, we'll update everyone on the progress. Gold is our focus, and our main target area is what we call the Egina district. So it's a very exciting part of our tenements. It's south of what is probably now the world famous De Grey Hemi deposit, which is around 9 million ounces. So we have tenements just south of that. We've already identified the Besha a target. It's a very large trending epithermal vein system, previously been tested to 150 metres. We're at the moment about ready to complete heritage surveying, which should allow us to commence air core drilling in Q3 into Besha. But we are looking forward to that drilling to see if we can firm up a very large gold system just south of De Grey's Hemi deposit. So battery metals, as I said, a new focus to us. The West Pilbara is the target area. We have tenements that are south of Azura's nickel discovery. Azura is an ASX listed company that has now reported a mineral resource of 5 million tonnes of nickel. So we have tenements directly adjacent to them. We've previously announced some very good soil anomalies at South Court and Milbourne, and you can see the surface soil results are absolutely fantastic. South Court, almost 1500 ppm of copper, 1500 ppm of nickel, and then you've seen here at Milbourne, we're seeing very strong nickel and copper in XRF work. Our team is on the ground at the moment completing IP and FLEM geophysical surveys. We expect those to be completed over the coming months, and then shortly after that, we'll actually commence drilling on the targets there. So again, keep an eye out for the news flow from this work. Very exciting being south of Azure. It's the same structural corridor and the same environmental setting. So we expect some strong results from our drilling. And more recently, we have turned our focus to lithium. For those that aren't necessarily up to speed with the Pilbara, but the Pilbara has become a very large lithium province with some very large operations in operation and also development projects happening. So we did do a survey across our tenements looking for pegmatites. We had made an announcement this week on the preliminary results of that, and as you can see here, we've identified a 16-kilometre long swarm of lithium, cesium, tantalum pegmatites. They've been confirmed some 2 to 5 kilometres north of a granitic complex. We'll continue to do more reconnaissance exploration on this. The results that we released this week, you can see there peak rock chip samples of 1.54% lithium and 1992 ppm of tantalum. So very exciting for us. We've built on work done previously. Definitely have a good read of the news release. We clearly don't see lithium as core to our business. So as we do the work, we'll have a look at the best way, again, to bring value to our shareholders with this exciting discovery just south of our Nullagine operation. And Victoria shouldn't be forgotten. Whilst it's a small tenement base, its geography south of Fosterville area is exciting. Joint ventures with both GBM Resources and Kalamazoo. We manage those joint ventures. A little while ago, we put out a release updating exploration work at Malmesbury, and you can see some of the grades that have come from recent drilling there. 14 metres at 6.1, 10 metres at 4.9, and you can see down the bottom 9.1 metres at 2.4 grams per tonne. So we see this as very early stage exploration, an exciting trend going forwards, and we'll continue to work that field and see if we can firm up an attractive projects going forwards. We're very focused on ESG principles. We're aligning ourselves with the ICMM mining principles. So you'll see later this year our inaugural ESG statement, and next year we'll put out our first sustainability report. We definitely focus on the way that we operate, whether it's here in the Pilbara or Victoria, and the way that we look after our stakeholders, the traditional owners that we work with, and our employees. It's a very important aspect of way Novo does its work. As I said, strong balance sheet, 87 million cash, 72 million in market securities, and we have a Sprott debt of 51%. Most people are probably aware that 51 million of that market securities is NFG shares, which we now have an agreement to sell those to Sprott, and so that transaction will happen later this year, and that will allow us to retire our debt and be debt-free at the end of the year. We have a very strong shareholder base who are very supportive, and we're very appreciative of their support as we move forwards with our focus, particularly on exploration. So just to summarise, we're an innovative gold producer. We want to grow to 250,000 ounces. Exciting mix of production and exploration. We've got the potential in-house and capability to develop projects. Really aggressive campaign since late last year and early this year on exploration, and that will continue. As you've seen, a great pipeline of projects, and we'll continue to work those. And at present, we're very well funded and we're in a good position. So I hope that gives you a good overview of Novo. Keep watching the news flow, particularly that exploration over coming months. And thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you, Michael. Good engagement, great presentation, and good engagement from the audience. So I have a few questions. If we don't have time for me, that's okay. Let's get our audience going here. First one's from Jeff. Timeline to move from 100,000 ounces to 250,000 ounces.
Very good question, given the excitement of exploration. But look, we've set ourselves a 4 to 5 year window to achieve that. Like most explorers, we'd love to do that organically, but we continue to focus on other opportunities that might exist outside the Pilbara. But the Pilbara is definitely our home base. People like myself and others have worked in the Pilbara for many years, so we do like that area.
Okay. One from Craig, where he's looking for an update on sorting results and the Beaton Creek mine plan. He said he was expecting something in May.
Yeah, so the ore sorter that was assembled at the gold project, that results were completed. We're just getting the last of the assays now. So you'll see the results of that program and an update on the movement of that sorter to Comet Well. You'll see that in about 3 or 4 weeks' time as we analyse the results. And as we've said to the market, before the end of this quarter, you'll get a good production update on Beaton Creek oxide operations going forwards. So look out for that. Yeah.
Excellent. From Jack, I would like to ask about obtaining permits and how that is going, specifically for Beaton Creek as well as other exploration plays.
On the exploration side, we generally don't have too many delays with what we call the program of works, the POW. So we're very fortunate in that. Like most groups around the world, we do need to get heritage approvals. And that can be difficult at times, given that there's so much exploration activity going on in the Pilbara that the traditional owners are very busy doing those heritage surveys. But as you've seen, we expect to complete surveys at Besha and also at the West Pilbara area in the coming months. So on the exploration side, really well. On the operations side, we've submitted all the paperwork for approvals for operations, and we'll update the market once we get some answers from government.
Okay. And last one here from Philip. He's looking at, you've touched upon it, but I guess to push down a little bit more on plans around that ore sorting. What's going on with the ore sorting?
Yeah, so as I said, Comet Well remains our primary target to bring ore sortable conglomerate material, nuggety material into production. So really this year, using the sorter that we've got, is to really understand the parameters. A lot of people keep asking me, how many ore sorters do we need? Once we completed this program, we'll know the number of ore sorters, but importantly, we'll know all the parameters needed by government to give us mining approvals. So we're still very confident by the end of the year, we'll be able to submit the approvals for Comet Well. And then next year, we'll focus on other conglomerate targets and see if we can push forwards those development fronts as well.
Excellent. Well, Michael, as the engagement shows, Novo it's garnered a lot of attention here in the North American markets as well as Australia. It's a really interesting company. You guys have been driving it forward. It's nice to see that cash flow coming out of Beaton's Creek and what you're doing on the battery metal side. So lots for us to follow, and we'll continue to do so. Best of luck for the rest of the year.
Thanks very much, everyone.
Cheers, Michael. Bye-bye.
Yes.